Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Enjoy church today. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Hello, Hello, Mystic Sirkin. Welcome to the meditation. Namo Amito Fo. Namo Amito Fo. Namo Amito Fo. Namo Amito. 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 This song is not on Discord, but I'll look for it again. Yes. The water sound I added myself, so let's get to the meditation. Good morning, Mystic Real Sunshine. It's time to do the work. I'll let you in on a little. I'll let you in on what I'm really doing. Even though the song's in the background, I'm doing my own Namo Amitofo chant. And I'm just finding my own rhythm while the main rhythm is playing in the music. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. But I'm doing that in my mind. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. And I'm doing my in-breath. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Out. Namo Amitofo. Or I slow it down. Namo Amitofo. In. And on the out, Namo Amitofo. And maybe at the end, Namo Amitofo. Breathing in, Namo Amitofo. And I relax my body. My intention is not to be high on meditation. My intention is not to be low. My intention is to be neutral. Neutral. Don't get high on the breathing, but don't get too low. Be right in the middle path. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. And you can actually just breathe with the music. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. The other secret is that I'm sitting on 2 cushions, but I fold the top cushion so that it's 3 cushions. So I'm literally sitting on 3 cushions. I need my hips to be higher than my knee to maintain this meditative posture. And when I'm in this posture, I can sit here for a long time without moving. Hips higher than the knee. I breathe in through my nose, and I breathe out through my nose too. The nostril, your nose, is a smaller hole so you can control your breath easier. When you use your mouth to control your breathing, I only do this when I guide meditation so people can hear my out breath. But whenever I do my personal meditation, in through the nose and out through the nose. Just a little tips for mystics looking to do the work. And welcome home, Mystic Devi, Mystic Sir Congra, and Mystic Taigo. The other secret is that my spine is slightly curved. Basically, I'm looking for the best way where my spine is centered, not overly straightened and not curving too much. Finding the balance. Think of a bamboo, curving but still straight, but not so straight that it doesn't curve. You don't want to be super straight. You want to relax the muscles of your back so that they're not overworking while you're meditating. You want to relax all your body so that you can feel the stillness of the meditation. And now it's time to go into doing my thing, chanting, singing. And thank you so much for doing the work with me. I love you. I see you. I love you. I see you. Namo Mitofu. Good night, Mystic Divine. Namo Amitofu. We're going to listen to something advanced. We're going to listen to something so advanced that I don't get all of it. If you're here listening to this, Maybe you get this more than me. Maybe you can teach me something. I get a lot of it, but it's the practical part that can be really tricky. It's called the Diamond Sutra.
The Diamond Sutra, a new translation by Alex Johnson. Chapter 1. This is what I heard. At one time the Buddha was staying in the Jeta Grove near the city of Shravasti. With him there was a community of 1,250 venerable monks and devoted disciples. One day before dawn, the Buddha clothed himself and, along with his disciples, took up his alms bowl and entered the city to beg for food, door to door, as was his custom. After he had returned and eaten, he put away his bowl and cloak, bathed his feet, and then sat with his legs crossed and body upright upon the seat arranged for him. He began mindfully fixing his attention in front of himself, while many monks approached the Buddha and, showing great reverence, seated themselves around him. Chapter 2. After a time, a most venerable monk named Subhuti, who was sitting in the congregation, rose from his seat. He uncovered his right shoulder, placed his right knee on the ground, and as he joined his palms together, he respectfully bowed and then addressed the Buddha. Most honoured one, it is truly majestic how much knowledge and wisdom your monks and disciples have been given through your most inspired teachings. It is remarkable that you look after our welfare so selflessly and so completely. Most honoured one, I have a question to ask you. If sons and daughters of good families want to develop the highest, most fulfilled and awakened mind, if they wish to attain the highest, perfect wisdom, what should they do to help quiet their drifting minds and help subdue their craving thoughts? The Buddha then replied, So it is as you say, Subhuti. Monks and disciples have been favoured with the highest favour by the Buddha. The monks and disciples have been instructed with the highest instruction by the Buddha. The Buddha is constantly mindful of the welfare of his followers. Listen carefully with your full attention, and I will speak to your question. If sons and daughters of good families want to develop the highest, most fulfilled and awakened mind, if they wish to attain the highest perfect wisdom and quiet their drifting minds while subduing their craving thoughts, then they should follow what I am about to say to you. Those who follow what I am about to say here will be able to subdue their discriminative thoughts and craving desires. It is possible to attain perfect tranquility and clarity of mind by absorbing and dwelling on the teachings that I am about to give. Then the Buddha addressed the assembly. Chapter 3. All living beings, whether born from eggs, from the womb, from moisture, or spontaneously, whether they have form or do not have form, whether they are aware or unaware, whether they are not aware or not unaware, all living beings will eventually be led by me to the final nirvana, the final ending of the cycle of birth and death. And when this unfathomable infinite number of living beings have all been liberated, in truth, not even a single being has actually been liberated. Why, Subhuti? Because if a disciple still clings to the arbitrary illusions of form or phenomena, such as an ego, a personality, a self, a separate person, or a universal self existing eternally, then that person is not an authentic disciple. Chapter 4. Furthermore, Subhuti, in the practice of compassion and charity, a disciple should be detached. That is to say, he should practice compassion and charity without regard to appearances, without regard to form, without regard to sound, smell, taste, touch, or any quality of any kind. Subhuti, this is how the disciple should practice compassion and charity. Why? because practicing compassion and charity without attachment is the way to reaching the highest perfect wisdom. It is the way to becoming a living Buddha. Subhuti, do you think that you can measure all of the space in the eastern heavens? No, most honoured one. One cannot possibly measure all of the space in the eastern heavens. Subhuti, can space in all the western, southern and northern heavens, both above and below, be measured? No, most honoured one. One cannot possibly measure all the space in the western, southern and northern heavens. Well, Subhuti, the same is true of the merit of the disciple who practices compassion and charity without any attachment to appearances, without cherishing any idea of form. It is impossible to measure the merit they will accrue. Subhuti, my disciples should let their minds absorb and dwell in the teachings I have just given. Chapter 5. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Buddha be recognized by means of his bodily form? No, most honoured one. The Buddha cannot be recognized by means of his bodily form. Why? Because when the Buddha speaks of bodily form, it is not a real form, but only an illusion. The Buddha then spoke to Subhuti. All that has a form is elusive and unreal. When you see that all forms are elusive and unreal, then you will begin to perceive your true Buddha nature. Chapter 6. Subhuti respectfully asked the Lord Buddha, Most honoured one, in the future, if a person hears this teaching, even if it is only a phrase or sentence, is it possible for that person to have a true faith and knowledge of enlightenment awaken in their mind? Without a doubt, Subhuti. Even 500 years after the enlightenment of this Buddha, there will be some who are virtuous and wise, and while practicing compassion and charity, will believe in the words and phrases of this sutra and will awaken their minds purely. After they come to hear these teachings, they will be inspired with belief. This is because when some people hear these words, they will have understood intuitively that these words are the truth. But you must also remember, Subhuti, that such persons have long ago planted the seeds of goodness and merit that lead to this realization. They have planted the seeds of good deeds and charity, not simply before one Buddhist temple or 2 temples or 5, but before hundreds of thousands of Buddhas and temples. So when a person who hears the words and phrases of this sutra is ready for it to happen, a pure faith and clarity can awaken within their minds. Subhuti, any person who awakens faith upon hearing the words or phrases of this sutra will accumulate countless blessings and merit. How do I know this? Because this person must have discarded all arbitrary notions of the existence of a personal self, of other people, or of a universal self. Otherwise their minds would still grasp after such relative conceptions. Furthermore, these people must have already discarded all arbitrary notions of the non-existence of a personal self, other people or a universal self. Otherwise their minds would still be grasping at such notions. Therefore, anyone who seeks total enlightenment should discard not only all conceptions of their own selfhood, of other selves, or of a universal self, but they should also discard all notions of the non-existence of such concepts. When the Buddha explains these things using such concepts and ideas, people should remember the unreality of all such concepts and ideas. They should recall that in teaching spiritual truths, the Buddha always uses these concepts and ideas in the way that a raft is used to cross a river. Once the river has been crossed over, the raft is of no more use and should be discarded. These arbitrary concepts and ideas about spiritual things need to be explained to us as we seek to attain enlightenment. However, ultimately, these arbitrary conceptions can be discarded. Think, Subhuti, isn't it even more obvious that we should also give up our conceptions of non-existent things? Chapter 7. Then Buddha asks Subhuti, "What do you think, Subhuti? Has the Buddha arrived at the highest, most fulfilled, most awakened and enlightened mind? Does the Buddha teach any teaching?" Subhuti replied, "As far as I have understood the Lord Buddha's teachings, there is no independently existing object of mind called the highest, most fulfilled, awakened or enlightened mind. Nor is there any independently existing teacher that the Buddha teaches. Why? Because the teachings that the Buddha has realized and spoken of cannot be conceived as separate, independent things, and therefore cannot be described. The truth in them is uncontainable and inexpressible. It neither is, nor is it not. What does this mean? What this means is that Buddhas and disciples are not enlightened by a set method of teachings, but by an internally intuitive process which is spontaneous and is part of their own inner nature. Chapter 8. Let me ask you, Subhuti, if a person filled over 10,000 galaxies with the 7 treasures for the purpose of compassion, charity, and giving alms, would this person not gain great merit and spread much happiness? Yes, most honoured one, this person would gain great merit and spread much happiness, even though, in truth, this person does not have a separate existence to which merit could accrue. Why? Because this person's merit is characterized with the quality of not being merit. The Buddha continued, "Then suppose another person understood only 4 lines of this sutra, but nevertheless took it upon themselves to explain these lines to someone else. This person's merit would be even greater than the other person's. Why? Because all Buddhas and all the teachings and values of the highest, most fulfilled, most awakened minds arise from the teachings in this sutra. And yet, even as I speak, Subhuti, I must take back my words as soon as they are uttered, for there are no Buddhas and there are no teachings." Chapter 9. Buddha then asked, "What do you think, Subhuti? Does one who has entered the stream which flows to enlightenment say, 'I have entered the stream'?" "No, Buddha," Subhuti replied. "A true disciple entering the stream would not think of themselves as a separate person that could be entering anything. Only that disciple who does not differentiate themselves from others, who has no regard for name, shape, sound, odour, taste, touch, or for any quality, can truly be called a disciple who has entered the stream." Buddha continued, "Does a disciple who is subject to only one more rebirth say to himself, 'I am entitled to the honours and rewards of a once to be reborn'? No, Lord, once to be reborn is only a name. There is no passing away or coming into existence. Only one who realizes this can really be called a disciple." Subhuti, does a venerable one who will never more be reborn as a mortal say to himself, "I am entitled to the honour and rewards of a non-returner"? No, perfectly enlightened one, a non-returner is merely a name. There is actually no one returning and no one not returning. Tell me, Subhuti, does a Buddha say to himself, "I have obtained perfect enlightenment"? No, Lord, there is no such thing as perfect enlightenment to obtain. If a perfectly enlightened Buddha were to say to himself, "I am enlightened," he would be admitting that he is an individual person, a separate self and personality, and would therefore not be a perfectly enlightened Buddha. Subhuti then said,
If you want more of that, just go on YouTube and search Diamond Sutra on YouTube. Spoken in English, Diamond Sutra. Very stimulating. Now we're going to listen to quotes from Gautama Buddha to stimulate our mind a little bit.
100 quotes by like a shadow that never leaves.
A lot of people like this one.
Just as a snake sheds its skin, We must shed our past over and over again. You are the community now. Be a lamp for yourselves. Be your own refuge. Seek for no other. All things must pass. Strive on diligently. Don't give up. The trouble is, you think you have time. She who knows life flows, feels no wear or tear, needs no mending or repair. You throw thorns, falling in my silence, they become flowers. A man asked Gautama Buddha, "I want happiness." Buddha said, "First remove I, that's ego. Then remove want, that's desire. See, now you are left with only happiness." The greatest prayer is patience. May all that have life be delivered from suffering. There are only two mistakes one can make along the road to truth: not going all the way and not starting. It's a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways. Wear your ego like a loose-fitting garment. To become vegetarian is to step into the stream which leads to nirvana. Kindness should become the natural way of life, not the exception. When you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. What is evil? Killing is evil. Lying is evil. Slandering is evil. Abuse is evil. Gossip is evil. Envy is evil. Hatred is evil. To cling to false doctrine is evil. All these things are evil. And what is the root of evil? Desire is the root of evil. Illusion is the root of evil. If you light a lamp for somebody, it will also brighten your path. A family is a place where minds come into contact with one another. If these minds love one another, the home will be as beautiful as a flower garden. But if these minds get out of harmony with one another, it is like a storm that plays havoc with the garden. A dog is not considered a good dog because he is a good barker. A man is not considered a good man because he is a good talker. Friendship is the only cure for hatred, the only guarantee of peace. The one who has conquered himself is a far greater hero than he who has defeated 1,000 times 1,000 men. In separateness lies the world's greatest misery. In compassion lies the world's true strength. When you come upon a path that brings benefit and happiness to all, follow this course as the moon journeys through the stars. To force oneself to believe and to accept a thing without understanding is political and not spiritual or intellectual.
Eating meat causes more suffering. That's why.
What you are is what you have been. What you'll be is what you do now. Speak the truth. Do not become angered and give when asked, even be it a little. By these three conditions, one goes to the presence of the gods. The way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. If a traveller does not meet with one who is his better or his equal, let him firmly keep to his solitary journey. There is no companionship with a fool. He is able who thinks he is able. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment.
Vegetarian leads to nirvana. Open your mind and see the truth in that comment, okay? Or don't. I've been vegetarian for like almost 4 years now. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. We are the angels of planet Earth. Be the change, meditate, spreading love. This is the kingdom of planet Earth. This is our kingdom, our Mother Earth. Na 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 na. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. That comment right there, if all one Buddhist teacher says if only eating vegetables and fruits lead to enlightenment, then monkeys will achieve it before you. That's not even the point of that comment. They want you to... That comment, the comment of being vegetarian is a path that leads to nirvana. It doesn't say eating vegetarian helps you awaken, right? It doesn't say that you will enlighten. It's just a path that leads there, but doesn't end there, you know, that you gotta do more. You gotta do the work. Being vegetarian means nothing if you're not compassionate, right? Being vegetarian because everyone else is vegetarian doesn't always lead to the highest thing. See that Buddhist teacher, I don't know who, you know. Yes, I get that. So that comment, right there. You have to be clear about. You have to be clear about, you know. So whenever we, because when we answer a comment with another comment, it is not very clear. You know what I mean? When you answer a comment with another comment, it makes people like getting straight to the point. Help it to be more clear. It's like answering the comment with another comment. I mean, a quote, excuse me. Answering a quote with another quote. That's why I don't use quotes to answer quote. Like I answer with a quote and explain it. Because there's so many young mystics in here who don't have that, you know. Because when we do a lot of spiritual, you know, studies, why I used to do the same thing, answering a quote with another quote, it's like, okay, let's be more clear. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's like if we all started talking through quotes from teachers, it's almost just like, I personally don't feel connected to quote battling or quoting, you know. And again, if it was clear, we wouldn't have this conversation at all. Not necessarily quote but more about clarity. Right. We would if it was clarity. And as a leader, you know, I know that there's other brothers and sisters who need clarity. And that's okay. Ego is a Buddhist enemy. But the word enemy is already, you know. But look at your own comment though, you know. But anyways, we don't have to explain. I've been Buddhist for many years, my friend. And again, thank you for your comment. Thank you for your quote. And I'm so grateful that you understand. But we're trying to be more clear in a way that somebody who may not have studied Buddhism to understand, that's why we're having this conversation. Yes, you have studied Buddhism and you get it. But what about other people who may have not studied Buddhism? And again, this is why I'm here. I'm here to make spirituality easy to understand and clear. Right? Right. And you know what? Thank you for practicing. But let's go back to our song here. Because right now, I want to sing. And I see. I don't want newbies to think eating vegetables. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm just with the reason why we had this conversation is we needed clarity. We didn't need another quote on top of another quote on top of another quote, right? We wanted to be clear, so I explained the clarity, and then it was more about being clear. Another quote, another helps to be clear. That's all the root of this conversation. Right. And again, your original comment was a bit misleading, which was the one that was on the audio. Or my response to him. And you see, this is the thing is, I see, you know, you know, there's been other mystics who come in here also, and I understand. I understand where they're coming from. I totally understand. They're also, you know, they don't have an online spiritual community. And so it's operating differently. I'm not here to teach Buddhism. I'm here to just stimulate people's minds so that they may love themselves a little bit more. And yeah, I'm doing my best. And that's okay. But the moment you know, the moment you start talking about, here's the moment. We would if your ego is invested, and ego is a Buddhist enemy. I'm like, okay. Like that part, like, even though it's true, it's like the moment you detected my ego, your ego also was invested. But that part, let's not talk about that part, you know? And that's why I'm like, hey, great, I know I know we all have the ego if we're talking on the stream. And again, you brought that part forward where this is a sign that you're ready for to lead, right? When you're teaching and you're using all these quotes, this is a sign that you're ready to lead a community. Absolutely. I get that part. All right, I get that part. I guess you're my Buddhist teacher. You know, it's about respect. That's what it is. Are you? It's about respect. Because the thing is, you haven't been coming into the stream often, and you're gonna start. We haven't made a loving relationship. Before we tell other people about their egos, we have to create a loving relationship, because it's coming from a place of ego itself, calling out people's ego without respect and love and compassion. It's a little bit, it doesn't feel good to the heart, right? It's about being gentle and being genuine. Because when we haven't created a relationship, it's like me calling out your ego right now, all right? And it's more about creating connection. And whether or not, let's just call it, this is called spiritual ego. I'm so Buddhist that I don't have an ego. I'm so Buddhist that I don't see my own issues. I'm so Buddhist that I know a lot, and let me teach something. I'm Buddhist, so I know. And this is where I'm like, Again, the person that sees the ego also has the ego. The moment we start talking about the ego, it's already there. We're creating it into the moment. But this part, you don't want to see. This part you don't want to see. And again, this other mystics that come in here that do the same thing. And I'm, only those who are invested in ego are offended. So Mystic the Real Sunshine says, that seems like pride. The thing is, Mystic Time Traveler doesn't see his issue because it's called spiritual ego. I'm so Buddhist that I have no ego, and I'm gonna call out other people's ego when they have it, right? And I've studied so much Buddhism that I don't relate to them we haven't created a relationship, we haven't created connection, but let me call out your ego real quick, But the truth is that I'm willing to talk to Mystic Time Traveler to show you what spiritual ego is. He doesn't even see that he doesn't see his ego. No, he's not here to troll, actually. He's actually a rigid practitioner of Buddhism, right? And so he's trying to, when he's right, it makes him like, my Buddhism works. And it's lacking, like for me, I don't feel compassion when he tells me, I'm not battling, all right? We would, if your ego is invested, and ego is a Buddhist enemy. I've been a Buddhist for many years, my friend. I'm like, the word enemy is what Buddhists understand as Maya. And so all of this, you don't realize it's called spiritual ego, Mystic Time Traveler. So I'm letting you know that, I'm letting you know how I feel, right? I'm letting you know how I feel about your comments. You can call it ego, but I call it compassion, right? Understanding how I feel, right? And the thing is, maybe this community, maybe this is not a community you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for your traditional temple to be in. But what we're doing on here is being gentle with each other and creating connection. Not really, calling people's ego out, but not also seeing our own. You're a advanced practitioner, and I'm here to talk to people who are open-minded, right? Right. I'm here to talk to people who are open-minded to what I'm talking about. But when you're here to judge me and use, and put Buddhism and whatever you have learned onto me, that's okay. This community may not be for you. This community may not be for you, Mystic Time Traveler. Here's the truth. Well, I'm here to make spirituality fun. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. We are the angels of planet Earth. Be the change, meditate, spreading love. This is the kingdom of planet Earth. This is our kingdom, our Mother Earth. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. You know why? Because I've been where Mystic Time Traveler has been. That's why I totally get it. I've been rigid with my spirituality before. I did not allow it to flow. But this is my opinion. This is my ego speaking. I have a brain. I have an ego. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. We are the angels of planet Earth. Be the change, meditate, spreading love. This is the kingdom of planet Earth. This is our kingdom, our Mother Earth. Na 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 na. Be in the now throughout your day. Don't miss most of your damn life. Get out of your head, get out your mind. The moment is what you'll find. The moment is what we'll find. The moment is what we'll find. Surrender to the love of the moment now. Freedom is what we'll find. Soar, owl of the nights into the sky. Freedom is not a fight. Freedom is love and light. Freedom is not a fight. This is why I sing songs to teach spirituality. I want to make it fun. I want to make it engaging. I want to connect more with the emotion of love. I want to make this thing fun. I want to make doing the work fun. I want to make meditation fun. Because when it's fun, we'll do the work of enlightenment ourselves. I'm here to show you a path. You do the rest of the work. And again, I know that not everyone will agree with me in what I do and what I say. And that's okay. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to be myself. And people will disagree. Mystic Time Traveler has his opinion of having no opinion. I have my opinion of having an opinion of no opinion of an opinion. We just, at the end, my focus is happiness, genuine love. Genuine love, that is my spirituality. My Buddhist path, feeling joy. Right? Feeling joy. Not really my Buddhist path, of course. We are all one at the end of the day. We have a system called the mind. We have a system called the heart. The heart is love, and love is everything, and also nothing. We have to, I understand how to explain things to people so that we can get things easier. We can understand. We have a mind, a system called the body, the mind, and the heart, which all leads to the moment, which is nothingness, clarity. And when we stay in that clarity long enough, things start to open. Our third eye starts to open. Right? And again, there's going to be many spiritual practitioners, Buddhists, Hindu, who come by, who will quote and say things to be right, to express their views. Great. But then sometimes those things disconnect from the moment and happiness. That's why I focus more on If you love to medicate yourself, realize you can meditate yourself. This is why I was raised in a tradition of Buddhism called called Theravada Buddhism. But I evolved into Mahayana because Theravada is rigid and in a box Buddhism. When I found Mahayana, it changed my life. And I've only been studying it for 3 months. But I'm not Buddhist. I'm a servant of love. I'm a student of love. I'm a student of happiness. Why not be the student of happiness? Why not be the student of peace? Why not be the student of happiness in the moment? The thing is, I really love Mahayana and Zen Buddhism. Why? I like God. Let's just say it. Mahayana has the Buddha of infinite light. I like the word faith. I like the word infinite love. I like mystical Buddhism. I like mystical Buddhism, that's why. And you know why I even walk this path? My teacher. My teacher is a living Buddha. And I'm just so humbled by my master. When your master can see the future, the past, when your teacher can do actual miracles, and you've been doing the same thing, but he's just so much more powerful. Right? The thing is, my teacher doesn't want to be known. Because he understands, right? Here's a little bit. That's all I'm going to say about my teacher. To keep it humble. To keep it humble. Right? Because when you are a powerful mystic, people fly from all over the world to see my teacher. And to me, I'm like, why do they do that? Why? How does he do this? I don't know how and I don't know why, but I know that I want to be his student because I want to make a huge difference, but in a mystical way. And when I'm studying with him, I feel like I'm at Hogwarts. I feel like I'm in this thing called... All right. The snap was it. And so I'm just humbled. I'm just humbled by this journey of awakening. He told me, he saw my past and he saw, you've been, he says I've been dwelling in Buddhism that was closed-minded, and that he was teaching me good Buddhism. And you know what? He's right. He's absolutely right. But most people who are Theravada or, non-mystical Buddhism, they just won't get it because they're not looking for mystical Buddhism. And they're like, what do you mean mystical Buddhism? There's no such thing as... Until you meet a master teacher who teaches some mystical stuff. Third eye teaching. Doesn't teach from just straight up teaches through the third eye. And I'm just like, this is what I've been looking for all my life. And I'm just so grateful that I'm here. Let's end with the song. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. We are the angels of planet Earth. Be the change, meditate, spreading love. And here's the thing. I would tell some people about my teacher, but when I know they're not coming from a place of open-mindedness, they will drain his energy by bad intentions or by closed-minded intention. This is the kingdom of planet Earth. This is our kingdom, our Mother Earth. Na 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 na. We are the guardians of planet Earth, protectors of the waterland and above. We are the angels of planet Earth. Be the change, meditate, spreading love. This is the kingdom of planet Earth. This is our kingdom, our Mother Earth. Na 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 na. Dun And I hope you have a nice day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy your life. And I hope we can meet each other and sing some songs together in the future. I'm on my way to playing crystal singing bowls at the park for 15 minutes. My friend Mystic Iris is guiding a yoga flow at the park. And she asked me if I would like to join and play crystal singing bowls with her. I'm like, I would love to serve with you. If the universe sends you a mission, listen and serve, and willing to serve for free. And when you serve for no cost, when you serve out of love, you will get so many miracles. And that money, I put money last, but I still put money there. But my main currency is love. Be encouraged, love. Love is my number one compassion. It's my number one currency. And I have it in my heart already. Anyways, peace and blessings. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Skirt.